Hello everybody, and welcome back to Star Technology. So I started off today by upgrading our ore miners for more tungsten. But in order to actually get more tungsten, we're gonna have to take a few more steps. One of those steps being, I would really like to start repurposing this metal mixture dust here. Because as you can see, we can turn this into 20 buckets of the molten ore mixture with just some stone dust and lava. Meaning we will be getting a lot more tungsten, because currently that is really the only thing stopping us from progressing. But before any of that, I need to stay true to my promise and expand the base yet again. I'm going to do a little bit more this time since I did a little bit less last time. And the main purpose of this new area is going to be for resource production. So building aside, I started off today's Dreg Tech grinding session by smelting up a few more of the ingots that we need to smelt up. One of them being tungsten carbide. No, we already did that one. Titanium carbide, the Shellite from last episode, or the Twinite, one of the two. And also HSLA steel, which will come in handy very soon. So what is the deal? I just noticed, by the way, why do I hold this like a normal item and not like a stick? Anyways, what is the deal with the new room down here? Well, first of all, it would appear I need to light it up. Is there a way to disable bat spawns? I think if I turn off mob spawning, it'll turn them off as well. We'll see. I want them to go away though. We'll see. I don't like the bats at all. But so this room is going to be for passiving. So these bays here, I was originally going to cover up, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it yet. Probably just with some Corp 5. When in doubt, use Corp 5 is what I have found. You may notice my bases look all kind of similar, but I did pull this again back from the Moni Factory base, and the All the Mods 9 base has kind of one of these patterns somewhere in the base. And a little bit of inspiration I got for this was my computer. I just kind of rebuilt it with some of the same parts. I upgraded my GPU. As you guys know, I got a new case. And it's mostly white, but also a little black. I know this is probably more black than white, but I decided for a kind of white exterior, but black interior. Anyways, long-term plan for this part of the base, what do we need here first? Well, first of all, something we need really, really badly is endstone, netherrack, and lava. Lava in particular. But luckily, thanks to the fact that I now have laminated glass, I can make the industrial barrel. So if you guys don't know how the industrial barrel works, it's pretty much everything from the stone barrel before and also the wooden one. But now, I believe this one, yeah, subtick parallels, and I think it's also just a lot faster. And as you can see, we can overclock this, so very much going to be a nice thing to have, specifically this recipe here for lava. So obviously, since this is a resource production, specifically lava, this will be going in the basement. And let me tell you, I am so happy I have these ME wireless connector doohickeys. They're so nice. Oh my gosh. Also, I don't really want to use these bays just yet. I wanted to use these for farms, specifically for mystical agriculture when we get to it. Besides the point though, we need lava really badly. Awesome, so this should be pretty easy. I can change the barrel mode. So let's say I want the magmatic one. I think that's the one that makes the lava. So I'm thinking if I just have some cobblestone here, I'm at some point going to need to get some cable facades. I'm always really bad about remembering to do the cable facades. I end up being really lazy about it later on, but you should be making me, oh yeah, whole bunch of lava. I kind of wish it would be faster. We use lava for a lot of things. One of them being tantalum. This is something we're gonna have to do. But also this molten ore mixture, I guess this is technically making lava faster than we would be doing this. So you know what? We'll speed this up. No harm in doing it. I mean, there is harm in doing it, but that's besides the point. And now we're at 5 seconds. Perfect. So as soon as I got lava, I wasted no time in making sure I was starting to make netherrack and endstone. And endstone was specifically important because I needed it to make helium, something we don't really have any of yet. And luckily, this only took 2 LCRs and I think a macerator and a centrifuge. So next up, I do kind of want to get epoxy, but I don't want you guys to make the same mistake that I did almost make. In being that you have to be careful with this, because in order to actually make the circuits that are used with the epoxy printed circuit board, you'll notice you're going to need an EV circuit assembler, meaning you're going to need an EV emitter, meaning you're going to need radon. So Star Technology is basically telling me, hey, no, you need to stop speedrunning. You're not going to be able to get all this stuff until you do, you know, all the fancy stuff that you want, or that it wants, I can speak, that it wants me to do, i.e. all of the distillation with the endstone and the netherrack. So I think I'm actually going to take a little bit of a detour here because doing this through mystical agriculture seems way better than doing it just the normal way. I mean, look at this. This just takes 5 seconds for 16 buckets. Whereas if I were to do it the mixer way, it would take 60 for 6 of these buckets and I would have to use my endstone and my nether air, which means this would take kind of a very ridiculous amount of time for just 1 bucket of radon. I mean, if 6 buckets takes 60 seconds, 30 if we're being generous, so 30 seconds for 6 buckets, so every 5 seconds we're getting 1 bucket of this. That'll take 1,000 seconds for 1 bucket of radon. So 1 millibucket per second of radon is not exactly what I want. Versus if we were to just do it this way with essence burning, and we could do this for air as well, and I think this is actually how the pack wants you to do it because it's so easy. I think we're going to set this up. And using this essence replicator, I think there's no way they don't want you to do it this way. We can get the inferium essence here for free. So every 2 seconds roughly, we'll be getting a piece of this, and we can upgrade this over time as well. So this stuff we can just centrifuge straight into the different essences, but we can also make these seeds that kind of do a very similar thing here. And that the seeds take a little bit less time. And we can also use all of this to make a whole bunch of other stuff. So I think getting into this now is a really good idea. So for the time being, I'm going to steal this centrifuge here until I get 16 of each of these essences, which I can then compress into the different seeds here. And you know, I think GregTech is the most fun when you think you've outsmarted the pack. You have found a way around regression or something along those lines. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get super fast ender air. I'm going to build my distillation towers. I'm going to make the essence producers or whatever they're called, the greenhouses for the mystical agriculture. And I'm going to get fast ender air. Wrong. Completely wrong. Because if you take a little look, it needs an EV essence. Is it essence replicator? Needed to be at EV. And you know what I needed for that? An EV emitter, which needed radon, which needed the ender air. So I had to go through, I had to make the original, the bad ender air setup just for the first 200 buckets. But then after the 200 buckets, I was okay to switch over to the better system using mystical agriculture. Oh my gosh, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. Come on. You want to run now, right? Yes. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a bit of a mishap on my part, but I needed this radon, this initial bit of radon, so that I didn't have to have this janky setup, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. This is making me basically my ender air, right? The hard way, if you will, because we can't actually use the air essence to make ender air until we have an EV essence burner, which we still need the EV emitter for. So there is that. So I did just have to wait like a good, I don't know how long, maybe honestly not too long, 20, 30 minutes for this. And now I will get my radon, meaning I will be able to make that EV essence burner, which is absolutely superb. Yeah, so as soon as I get that radon in, that should be awesome. And Awesome, so that just finished, so now I should be able to make my 2 essence burners. Okay, now, can I make those essence burners? It looks like yes, I totally can. That's awesome. Okay, this is a really big milestone, and it also means we can make that EV circuit assembler, which I might as well do right now before I use the radon on something more stupid. So over here, I have my little kind of mystical agriculture setup. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like this. I might not. We'll see. There is a very large amount of dire wire, though, pretty much everywhere in my base now. And to be honest, I don't think that's something that's going to change throughout Star Technology. But oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. We have our nether air here and our ender air coming through. I think, going to up here dismantle this system that I have. I no longer need it at all. And while we're on this wave of happiness, if you will, I'm sure you guys have been thinking, what happened to those Shellite rotors you were all excited about last time? Well, let me tell you what I've been doing in the background. So I've been playing for a good while. I don't actually know exactly how long it's been in this episode. Well, we have a lot of time. But how is this only at 31? I mean, this has been running the entire time. And you would be very, very, very correct in thinking that is unusual, and it is, because I have been using it, and every single one of these is completely upgraded. Now, I don't know why, I can't see the rotor on some of these, but literally every single one does have one of these Shellite rotors. In fact, to be honest with you guys, we could probably upgrade it to Twinite here really soon after we do Platline. So, what is the game plan now? Well, really the next big thing I would like to do is multi-blocks, but there's a few steps we have in between there, one of those being these epoxy boards I was talking about for the better circuits. So we're going to put circuits one step ahead in the priority list just because we need it for the parallel hatches, which is what makes the multi-block strong in the first place, right? These guys need LUV circuits, which do in fact need those epoxy boards here. So here's what I'm going to do, because I've done so much chemistry, I'm sure this won't take long. We have all the stuff really that's needed for this, though I do think we should distill our wood vinegar for acetone and acetic acid. So you know what? Let's do that real quick. Let's like speed run this. All right, so one little distillation tower later. These really don't ever take that long. Awesome. And I like this little like stacking thing I have going on here. It conserves a lot of space. So we did in fact need this acetone in order to make bisphenol A, and we weren't exactly making it before, so this is really good. Meaning it is now everyone's favorite time of the video. I know it's mine. It's time for some chemistry. This one's going to be a smaller montage. I don't think I remembered epoxy really being that long. It's time to play some LCRs. It's my favorite part of the game. So I'm going to take this short chemistry session to talk for about 35 seconds. I want to thank each and every one of you, 3,000 of you guys now, which is baffling to me. I remember when I had a measly like 80 people subscribed to me, most of which probably weren't real people, but who knows, it might not even be now. But you guys have been, I mean, I love reading the comments. On every video, I used to not get any of those. It makes my day. So please, if you feel like you have something to say, comment it, say it. Let me hear it, because the fact that I have people interacting with me at all, it just makes my day. I love you guys. Thank you so much for 3,000. Alrighty, so, I mean, not even 10 minutes later. Oh, the chemistry's done. Yep, let me tell you, my hands were built for making LCRs. I love this. Look at this. This is so beautiful. The sound, the LCRs, I always get lazy about this. Okay, so the way my mind works, I'm like in Greg Tech mode, not in building mode. So I don't want to fix all this up right now, because currently I'm trying to play the mod pack. But then when it comes time for me to do building mode, I'm going to want to work on something big, not fixing up all the the kind of bad spots around the base. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So again, there's a few more things on the to-do list that we absolutely have to do. One of those being indium. Now we could do actually like all of these circuits before indium possibly, but we do really need indium. And the reason I really want to do it now is because, oh, you see, my diamond production is no longer fast enough. No, this is going down since I upgraded those rotors. So you know what? We'll get to that. I'm getting off track. I never did Blackstone. Never did it. I never made a sieve for it or anything. It's probably about time that I do that. And so that's exactly what I did. I made 2 of these sieves, or no, the one I'm currently making on screen, I'm going to use for more diamonds because we cannot be running out of diamonds. I mean, we use that for power. But I also made one of those little multi-block rock crushers, so one of the 3x3s that have perfect OC, to make Blackstone. Alrighty, so I have a little bit of a Blackstone set up here with the large rock crusher, and just running this with an HV hash actually one ticks it, so that's pretty cool. I think we're throughput maxed out by the LV hatch in there. I also made a second sieve just for diamonds, and I'm going to make a third sieve, but I have to actually crush down this Blackstone. Okay, so I just have this little baby crushing setup here. I think this should work. It should give me my desired output. Yes, wonderful. Meaning I can now make another one of these sieves. Awesome, so this is not going to be really anywhere near as fast as the 16 amp EV hash, but that's okay. It does not need to be that fast. So now that I have galena, I think that's also sphalerite that you need. We can straight up just, put this through an ore washer here. And so that is exactly what I did. Indium line isn't really too long. It's a little bit annoying just because there's a lot of different machines involved, so I have them spread around the base. But I'm just making the indium concentrate. It's really cheap, actually. Then I send that through the chemical reactor, and from there I have to make an electrolyzer to send, I think, the indium oxide? Something like that, through to get the actual indium, and that was pretty much it for indium line. It's just a huge mess, though. So this brings us to here and now, where I think we're actually going to be able to make the IV energy hatch today, which is, oh, hello, Barry. It's been a while since I've seen you. So to make the IV energy hatch, we're going to need 1 insane voltage coils and also HPIC chips. Now these HPIC chips is what we needed indium for, but we're also going to need a good amount of gallium, which I'm not sure if we actually have that much of. So we're also going to need liquid vanadium gallium. Again, we have vanadium, we have gallium. Gallium's not on passive, but it's not expensive, so it'll be okay. So just an EBF for the vanadium gallium. And we really don't need that much of this at a time. It's really only used for the IV energy hatch, which again, we don't need too much of this at once. So if you guys remember, I did put NPICs on passive. Now this isn't required, right? But it definitely makes it nice for making these IV HPIC wafers here. Now, the one thing that does suck about this pack is the cleaning maintenance hatch requires UV, so it's really, really far away. Meaning we're going to need a chemical reactor inside of our clean room, which I don't know if it'll actually fit. So I am going to put the indium gallium phosphide on passive, because it is used quite a lot. And with that, if I go into the clean room here, this is going to be a bit interesting. But I think I'm just going to have an autocraft LCR here. I don't know if I super duper want these on passive. Yes, they do take a long... Oh, those do take a long time, don't they? I suppose maybe I should. Man, this guy is going to need to be upgraded too. Which means we need an IV cutter, isn't it? So I suppose this means I may as well put all of this stuff on passive. Yep, it's really starting to get messy here. Awesome, so I am now making my HPIC chips and HPIC wafers on passive, both of them being level limited. Okay, that feels really nice to get that out of the way, actually. So in order to actually make the insane voltage coil we need for the IV energy hatch, we need iridium, which then dawns upon the task of platline, which I decided, okay, I'll do a little bit more platline. I might as well. So I started building a few more multi-blocks. Again, I haven't completely finished out platline, and I am not going to do it in this session that I'm showing you right now. But now we should be making our... ruthenium? Was it ruthenium? Yes, ruthenium and also iridium. And I have since eaten dinner, and oh boy, we have a lot of iridium, which we do need to send through a blast furnace. So just like that, if I'm not mistaken, this inside of an IV assembler, and we are good to go. We can make, I believe, our IV energy hatch. Oh yeah, look at that. Boom. IV energy hatch has gotten. Surely it's a quest somewhere. I have to hold my HPIC wafers. That is absolutely superb and feels amazing. We have an IV energy hatch. Oh my gosh. I would say the energy hatch is usually what means, oh, you are in that age now, that energy tier. We are now in IV. That feels amazing. This unlocks a lot of stuff for us, actually. So for the last part of this video, I would like to kind of get a bit of an auto crafting something set up, and I'll kind of show you what I mean here in a second. So what I'm cooking up here is some titanium carbide. Reason being so that I can make heat vents and an alloy blast smelter. So what my plan is basically is I would like two kind of machines for on-demand kind of like longer tasks. So think of ingots that I don't have passive. One of the ones that actually comes to mind is like this casing here for the pretty much all the casings actually for the Star Technology 3x3 multi-blocks. Like I don't have these dusts on passive, nor do I really want them on passive, but I may want one of these machines here and there, as the perfect overclock is really nice for a lot of certain recipes. So I don't think that these machines are going to be going away at all. Especially for something like Flatline, I actually think it's going to be faster without the parallel hashes until we're like way above, not way above IV, but like in LUV. I think this is going to be the way to go for Flatline. And honestly, we could probably take it like this all the way through until we get the thing that automates all the Flatline in one single kind of recipe, the large chemical reactors, not the LCRs, the chemical plants, those guys. And I don't want to put them on passive because I just don't see a point. So there's this thing called the hardened industrial furnace, which is pretty much just an EBF, but with throughput boosting and subtick parallels. So basically it's really good. So this is also why earlier in the episode, I made that HSLA steel and titanium carbide, and having that ready just on demand is really nice. Now, seeing as I'm waiting on a whole bunch of stuff anyway, like coils here, actually, in fact, I'm gonna need a lot. There is actually something we can do in the meantime. So I would really like a 16 amp IV energy hatch. However, there's a problem. We need 1, niobium titanium, and 2, the thing that we need to make the niobium titanium cables, polyphenylene sulfide. And well, you guys know me. I feel like at this point, I'm Mr. Chemistry. I have placed so many LCRs already. Oh my gosh. And I think for the polyphenylene sulfide, it's literally only 3 LCRs I had to place. So I figured I might as well just get it out of the way. Alrighty, so I have everything cooking up, the niobium, titanium, the tantalum carbide, everything seems to be going. I just have to fix this up, which I'll do momentarily. Oh, and it would seem I did forget a mixer recipe for molybdenum disilide. Okay, I think actually, like, how many EBS have we made today? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7. I made 8 EBFs today. Oh my gosh. And how many of these have I made? I mean, the wall's already like halfway full, and we're on episode 11. I might not enjoy placing those so much by the end of this. So I have my molybdenum disilide going, have the EBF for it. Whew. I'm honestly probably going to just completely stop showing those on camera. And I should be able to start making some of the heat vents. Can I even make 10 of these yet? No, these are kind of expensive. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and set up the industrial furnace here. Kind of explain how exactly I'm going to do this. So what I'm actually going to do here is a little bit of a subnet for the auto crafting. I don't really want to just put the interface on top of an input bus. I would like to use the ME one here. Oh no, the one I'm thinking of is the stocking input bus. This thing is very nifty. I can't actually make it yet though, because I don't have quantum stars. That's okay, I can still totally do a subnet. And something else I'm actually going to do on these is I'm going to use configurable maintenance hatches, because what I can do is I can make the machine 1.1 times faster. No. I want it to go, here we go. Okay, so the maintenance might be a little bit annoying, but I think it'll be okay. It'll be worth it because I'm going to be looking at this like all the time. And the main purpose of this is going to be fast. If I find it to be annoying enough and the 10% boost doesn't make that much of a difference, then I'll replace it with a cleaning one or an auto maintenance hatch. Okay, so now for the reason I wanted this to be its own subnet is because I want this output bus to go directly into a vacuum freezer without me having to do any filtering. So this is kind of like a combo deal here. So I don't know if I've talked about this yet. I think I might have. Okay, so this little green cable is its own subnet, right? Okay, I have a storage bus on this input bus. So where is the storage on this system? It's on the input bus. So, you know, if we're looking at the identical, or in case it hasn't clicked, think of this as the ME drive or a chest that you have external storage on. So any items that I put into this system are going to go into this input bus. All right, now what does this output bus do? Well, it puts items into the system from this machine specifically. meaning any single item that ever enters this system has to be stored in the vacuum freezer, meaning, and the only items in the system are the ingots from this, what is this called? HIF? Do I want to call it that? I'm just going to call it the big blast furnace. So now that I have all the polyphenylene sulfide I need, everything I need, the cool, awesome part about this is I'm totally going to put a 16 amp IV energy hatch on this. Awesome. Okay, so we are totally formed. So here's the plan. As you can see, I have an extended pattern provider here on this ingredient buffer, and I'm going to give power to this subnet. So I don't really need this here if this is just so I can have stuff buffered and not just in the hatch. Ooh, speaking of hatches, I also am going to want an input hatch on here. And this input hatch is going to be coming from mainnet. So all the fluids that are used to kind of speed this up, right? So everything here is going to be on circuit 2, right? So we use all the fluids like helium, hydrogen, and this is going to use so much power. But I'm ready for it. Okay, I want to test this thing out, so I'm going to go ahead and plug everything in. That should be all we need. All we need is the pattern provider on this ingredient buffer going into the input bus on circuit 2. So literally as soon as this is online, we should see all the fluids go into here. And I'm going to change this guy to IBEBF. And let's take something I use quite often, like this Tumbaga casing I use all the time. So what I'm going to do is 8 at a time. I'm going to do this because of throughput boosting. In fact, I might do 64 at a time. And I'm going to put this through that EBF thing. And let's see if this works. So I want to craft some of this. It's going to make its dust, which then should jump straight into here. Oh my gosh, it's working. Look at how fast this is. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Yeah, and it should all be going straight into here. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So I think it just did that whole stack already. That is so much better than just having something like this obscure ingot on passive. There's no need. The one thing I have to do now is just send this back into mainnet here. But that's awesome. That is really cool. So now all these weird casings I can just have on passive, or things like blue steel I know I use some random amount. So I am really glad, by the way. Robo Creator again told me that this existed, so I was like, oh, I have an idea, because I've never really done EBF stuff on demand before, and okay, this is also having something to do with it, so there's that as well. So I wanted to give it a shot, and I definitely think this was a good time investment. Alrighty, everyone. Well, that is unfortunately going to have to be all from me today. I spent a lot of time on this episode. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I know this episode had a lot of voiceover and not as much montage, but I feel like there was so much for me to talk about. I didn't really want to leave any of it out. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Hopefully it wasn't too much. I know the Clue is watching this right now. He's writing down his notes, ready to give them to me in his Discord. I know you're listening. Anyways, I love you all so much. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode of Star Technology. Hit subscribe if you have not done so already if you enjoy my content. Hit the like button. It just makes my day. I could care less about the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Star Technology. Later.